Monday.
Today is May the 15th, 2006, and I'm going to be interviewing Everett Smith, and we're going to be discussing his World War II experiences. All right, Everett, give me your full name.
James Everett Smith,
Okay, and when were you born?
9/16/25,
Okay, and where?
Proctor, Oklahoma.
Okay, and when did you move to Arkansas?
We moved to Arkansas, I believe, when I was 5, from Seminole, Oklahoma, over to Rudy.
Okay. And what was your dad's name?
Stephen Andrew Smith.
Okay, and if you could describe your dad, what would you say about him?
Dad was hurt rather badly in the oil field when we moved to Seminole, Oklahoma. We got some pipe on him some way or another. It was never, he worked a lot after that, was never really completely recovered from that accident. And he was the type of fellow that wanted someone with him when he worked, and so it was back during the Depression that I stayed home from school a lot and helped him work to put bread on the table.
Okay. Was your dad an outgoing man, or had his accident, was he in constant pain?
No, he wasn't in constant pain at all, and I'd say he was not really an outgoing person, but he was. He certainly wasn't bashful or reserved in that manner anyway.
Okay, was he a farmer?
Yes.
Okay, and you helped him on the farm?
Yes.
Okay, about your mother, what was her name?
My mother was the hardest working person that I've ever known in my life. She gave birth to 12 children, raised 10 of them. And this, of course, most of the time was back when there wasn't very much money available for anyone. But she would can all summer, and she would take old clothes and make clothes for the children. And they went to school looking as nice as anyone's children, but she would work a lot of times, I suppose. She's always working when I went to bed, and how long after, I don't know, but I suppose many times 12 to 1 o'clock. And she lived to be an old lady, but I've often thought, that she must have been made of steel, but there's not a lot of steel that lasts as long as she did.
So was she an outgoing person or a quiet
yes.
person?
She was very outgoing. She never met a stranger.
Okay. All right, who did the discipline in your home?
Well, my dad did mostly on my part. Mother some. I remember Mother spanking me once. And but she was a very disciplined person.
Okay. You went to school at Rudy?
I went there some. I didn't get to go very long.
What grade was it that you had to quit school?
8th grade.
8th grade?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you quit school to help your dad on the farm?
Yes.
All right, was it hard work?
Well, it was hard work, but I was used to hard work, and that made it easy for me after I went in the service. When they asked me to do something, I just tried to see how quickly I could do it, and
Okay.
so I got by real good that way.
Was it long hours on the farm?
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. Part of the time, not all the time, but like we would bale hay down here in the river bottoms around down the other side of Kibler, and we may work pretty late down there baling hay, and then we would haul hay from there over to our home north of Rudy on a wagon. And it's been 10 o'clock many a time before we would get home. Sometimes I would be so tired I'd just go upstairs to my bedroom and throw myself across the bed, and be there when getting up time the next morning. And I would be so tired I wouldn't even eat anything that evening. But it was about the way everyone had to do back in those days.
Okay, it was hard work being a
Yes.
farmer.
Yes.
Do you know what you raised? What crops did you
Mostly
raise?
strawberries.
Okay. When you were a teenager now, in the 8th grade, you'd have been about what, 13, 14?
13, I guess.
Okay. So when you got to be a teenager, you were still working there on the farm. Did you
Yes.
hear anything about the situation in Europe, about Germany?
Yes, we had an old battery-operated radio, and when the battery would go down, we would have to carry it to Rudy and get it charged and bring it back and start over again. But yes, I kept up even as a child. I kept up pretty well with the situation when Hitler began to take over other countries over there, and I felt, not knowing for sure, of course, but really almost sure that I would enter the conflict before it was over with.
Okay, you had to register for the draft, but they didn't draft everybody, but you had to register for the draft.
Right.
Okay, that was before the war started.
Well, if you remember, they started a campaign, commercials, asking young men to join the Army for a year. I don't know if you remember the song or not, but when they were signing up for a year, someone had written a song that the title of it was "I'll Be Back in a Year, Little Darling." But Little Darling didn't get back in a year. It was more like 4 or 5, 6 years for some of them.
When you went to the movies, did you see the newsreels, the news clips about Germany and this
Not a
country?
whole lot, no, I don't remember that. I remember seeing the Western films, but I don't remember seeing anything about the war on the screen.
All right, were you worried about Japan? Now, you were worried about Germany, but were you worried about Japan?
We were more concerned, I guess, about Germany, about Japan than we were Germany, because of the strike that they made on Pearl Harbor. And in fact, I think that pretty well set all the people of all ages, on edge against the war. There wasn't any side that I know of. I'm sure that there must have been some resistance against the war, but none that I ever heard of. Seemed to me like a united people, a united nation. We're going to war, we're going to get this thing done, and which we did.
All right, tell me where you were when Japanese did bomb Pearl Harbor.
I remember when I heard about it, we had a large oak tree just to the left of our front door as we came out of the house, and I'll never forget, for some reason I was there by that tree when I heard it for the first time.
Okay, and now you're a young man
I was 16 at that time.
at 16 years old.
Uh,
So you're thinking, I'm not quite old enough to go, but I will be soon?
That was what I was thinking, that I would no doubt enter the conflict before it was over with. And I was taught that we were fighting for our freedom, and I had no reservations at all about going. In fact, when I was inducted at Camp Robinson in Little Rock, I was either something like, I don't know exactly, but it was 3 or 4 pounds. I was 3 or 4 pounds under the weight that they required to go in service. And I told this doctor if he would go ahead and put down what I needed, that I would go on and I would put that weight on as quickly as possible. And I'm not sure, but I believe I had it on within the first 30 days after I went in.
Do you remember what year that was? What year were you in?
43.
Okay, and what month? What,
I think it's around the 1st of November.
1st of November 1943.
Mhm.
All right, you went to Camp Robinson. You were not quite up to weight. When did you put your weight on?
Probably then in the first 30 days after I was in the military.
Okay.
There's only one food that I really didn't like, and that was carrots. And when I got down to Camp Robinson, it seemed like they couldn't cook anything without carrots. If they had roast beef, it had carrots. And if they had boiled potatoes, it had carrots. Just, I don't know why, but it all had carrots in it. I didn't eat anything out of the mess hall except breakfast. Had a few dollars in my pocket, and I lived on cookies and ice cream there for a while. And when that was gone, I began to eat, and it wasn't very long until I was going through the chow line at least 2 times. And I put that weight on really quickly.
Okay.
It was kind of strange the way that the dietitians prepared the food, because those that were fat lost it, and those that were skinny put it on.
Oh, really?
That's exactly the truth. I mean, of course, I think our work had a lot to do with that, because we did a lot of exercises such as running and carrying full field packs and going over obstacle courses and things like that. And so I wanted to be first in all of it, in everything that I did. And we had these rope obstacle courses that was up maybe 18 or 20 feet high. And of course, in that course, you had to go over those. Instead of going crawling down on the other side, I'd get to where I thought it was safe, and I would jump down the rest of the way so I could beat everyone else. Had an old colonel at the end of the line that would tap me on the shoulder, you know, and that would make me be that much more foolish. So I came down with what they call a March fracture. That's where these bones from your heel to your toe break right across there.
Right.
And I was put in the hospital, and the doctor said that he would never release me for full-time duty, never, because each time that he had done that, the bones would break again, and they'd be right back in there. And I said, well, let me try it on full duty anyway. And he said, okay. So he did, and I've been walking on them ever since. I walked over those mountains over there in northern France and different places over there with a BAR rifle. It's a heavy gun to be carrying.
Okay.
And,
So you would have had an opportunity not to have to go overseas.
I had a golden opportunity not to go if I had chosen to take that route. And this doctor said that those, as soon as you start marching again, they're going to break down. But they didn't.
Okay. So now, where